and we're going straight into the battle. They've got it all ready. It looks like Montreal and New York are completely ready for this. Montreal is the Nemesis Gaming Center, and New York is the World Gamer Nation. So what we're going to see here is 4 more PvP races, and this is for the champion of the American side of things. This is some real weight.
So
and
they go very sideways there.
Wow, that was not straight racing. What happened there?
Well, I think one guy tried to pass the other and managed to get stuck on his rear end or something.
So an action-packed start.
It was a classic fishtail move that went sideways.
Definitely an action-packed start there. And what I was saying was there's a lot of pride to be had here. Both the American teams, they fought hard to get to this stage, and they're ready and willing to try get to the World Finals and face Denmark to see who's going to be the overall champions for the first ever Route 909 and the crew event. And right now we can see that it's Slayer from Nemesis up front. We've got WGN's Taxi Cab second, and then Nemesis Vinny G in third. Bandit Ra, who we saw before was doing so well, is only in fourth. Actually just got into third right now.
But yeah, pretty well split up field right now. Everyone's battling it out, and there's a long way to go in this map still. It is the Chicago Tour, and that's a lot of open road and just, well, not open road. There's traffic coming on at all times. But
evil traffic as well.
Yeah, they are terrorists, those NPCs. But yeah, it's a lot of big spaces, not a lot of small tight corners. There are some, so you need a car that can sort of do it all, but you want it to, in this map, favor a bit of a long stretch car. Like,
the Americans
Sprinter.
just have been taking each other out, so that gives the Montreal guys a little bit more air to breathe.
And previously, I wanted to touch on the previous game that we saw between Meltdown and DS Rack. DS Rack had done so well of upgrading their cars and putting it to the highest specs, and you can see here again, both teams on the American side have done that. They're at 195, 198, 197, all modded their cars to the maximum they could do in the small portion of the game we've released, because remember, they can only go up to level 10, which you can see all the way down, because obviously the game has not been released yet.
And they have been tuned to the max, and DS Rec has done the same, and because they have consistently done that, that gave them the edge in the race against France, against Paris, and we will see that too in the New York team now.
And it's so important, because if you're not upgrading your car, you're going to fall behind. And that's one of the other... Ooh, that was a huge curb. And we were only speaking about this earlier, Nicholas. You might think you can jump over that, but obviously not.
Sometimes it's just a bit too high. That edge that you're trying to cut over, that is just a few centimeters too high, and it hits your bumper instead of your wheel.
Yep.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You should take it in a different angle and a little bit slower.
And Nemesis now actually in a really good position where they hold first, third, and fifth, and that's gonna lead them with. If they can keep this up, they're gonna have a nice little lead.
This is nice though, because we've already like nearly 3.5 minutes through the first part of this, for the first race even, and it's still so mixed. We're still seeing the scoreboards change. No one's really kind of running away with it. Slayer's not having much of a hard time, but the other guys are all fighting. Bandit Ra has been going from second to fourth to third and all sorts, so still a lot to play for here. And look at that, they're sliding into each other, straight into a tree, and Vinny G is not going to be happy with that. And he just keeps bumping into things as he's trying to save himself a bit there. He's got to be careful of that ongoing traffic as well.
Will he get even? That's the other question.
Yeah, he's looking for that revenge, I bet.
So they're still circling each other a lot, and well, I think it is safe to predict that this series of 4 maps are going to be close all the way.
Definitely, and if this map is anything to go by, we've got Taxi Cab and Bandit Ra on second and third, doing a good job of fighting there, but it looks like Taxi Cab's going to go try take the lead. Slayer is quite far in front there, just can't quite see what the distance was, but the finish line is in the midst of them. Slayer's already gone over it. We're going to wait to see what happens now. There's no change as it is. Bandit Ra's got himself into third place at the moment. He's coming right up the side of Taxi Cab, but he's already gone through, and he will end up finishing in third. You can see the final scores there on the left-hand side of your screen.
If ever there was an even matchup,
yeah.
It's this one. It seems very, very even, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do on dirt, if they are competing to the same level, or if there's just one guy way more comfortable on dirt.
And that's the fantastic thing about this game, is we're not just fighting in one style of racing. You've got to be either prepared for all of it or have someone who's a specialist at each of your crews there.
Right.
But driving in the city is also a specialism. You need to be really consistent with cutting corners. Where can you do it? Where can you not do it? Do I take a terrace? Do I drive through a park? Because then you go on the grass and you need to be really, really careful. Because if you go a bit sideways, you will spin out and you will lose. So you have to take your chances, but be very careful and be very consistent with it.
Definitely, and the thing I want to see here as well is I'd like to see another draw, maybe on the American side. We've seen a European draw already.
It could shape up to be something of that sort.
Yeah, definitely.
The points are pretty even right now. We're gonna get them up in just a little while, but yeah, this might just shape up into a draw in the American final. You never know.
Big time. Anything can still happen. There's still all to play for. We've got 3 matches right now left to go for the American final here. It's New York versus Montreal. It's quite a rivalry, I'd say, because you've got Canada there all the way. Oh, same score, I'm being told. 18.
A tie already.
Wow, a tie right from the beginning.
18-all.
Yeah,
18-all
18-all.
tonight.
Yeah.
It's the second tie, really.
Second time we've had a draw. We thought it might have been a draw. And it's still all to play for.
I'm just throwing this out there. 4 maps, all draws. What's gonna happen?
That would be pretty crazy.
Then
That
it
would
will,
be amazing.
Last time, at least with the 2 Paris games, it was like
Yeah,
one winning, one losing, one winning, and it was kind
it
of
was like
changing
a
around
clear winner,
constantly.
clear loser.
Yeah,
and
yeah. And then we just ended up with having the score of 72-72. This
Yeah.
time round, we've got 18-18 from the start. So you can
Yes.
see we're bringing it back into game right now. This is going to be the second one. And all engines are go. We're going to get out of that spectate mode straight away. Got to love the way we jump out of spectate mode.
And
Remember, guys, this is a new game. It isn't fully released yet. And once we get there, there'll probably be a little few improvements and changes to that.
So
He takes a very good line there, but he takes also his teammate out. That's not good. Almost
the
out.
first real corner here being so important, and they end up in the trap.
Oh, 2 cars
Oh.
out.
That's actually really, really bad for Nemesis right there. They
Nemesis.
ended up taking the turn a bit too wide. Like, that's a turn where you want to take it as
Yeah.
wide as possible.
But
You need to be scratching the paint of those parked cars.
They wanted both to be in the same place, and you need to let one team member go. And that's all part of the teamwork. If you don't do that, you can get punished for that.
But look at this again from New York. Slayer is just running with it. You can still see him in his rear view just there, but he is currently in pole position. Taxi Cab close behind him, the same as Bandit Ra just slipped to 4th even, and we've got who is that? Red.
Those
parts. Say that. These names that they're confusing me with here.
Those
And,
parked cars are really, really nasty. You could see it taking out 2 guys who wanted to beat each other in that corner, and you have to be careful because the cars are placed there on purpose.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
really
I don't think we can put all the blame on the parked cars. Like, the insurance company would surely say that it's the driver that actually managed to crash into it.
They're going to be the one fronting the bill for sure.
Yeah.
But we're still seeing it's the same few cars here. We've got Red Valoroso here, and
GT.
he's pushed all the way to 2nd right now. But it's still all to play for. And what I'm loving from these 2 teams is just how close it is. Before, we've been seeing a couple of players just run off into the distance and leave the others behind. But this is still so tense, even when we're getting to like 4th, 5th, and 6th position.
there's great camera work here as well. I like this angle.
Yeah, this car, the Mustang GT, actually is not really one of my favorites. It is possibly the quickest car in the build we're running right now, and but that's on a far long straight stretch,
Yeah.
and you're never really gonna get that. You see him having trouble in the turns, controlling the outbursts of this beast of a vehicle, and
Yeah, he's not going to be able to take
But
them
this-
too well at all.
no, but he's gonna pull away here from the Nissan.
Nitro at the
370.
same time.
Yeah, and it's gonna be scary, like really apparent how he can just pull away.
You see the Nissan is a little bit faster in the sprints.
There is some slipstreaming going on, so it's gonna
Mhm.
pretty much balance itself out, and that's gonna be bad for the Mustang actually having a tougher time in turns.
And look at this, Slayer and Taxi Cab, they're just meeting no issues at all. As long as they ride this flawlessly, they've only got each other to compete with right now. But look at that, Slayer is still about 500 yards in front of Taxi Cab. At 700 now, he must have hit that nitro boost just going down that straight.
But remember, from the other race, you can't win a race alone. You need to
Yeah.
be strong as a team.
And it
So
does
you
seem
need some
like right now
block
both teams are sort of competing individually.
Yeah.
You have the tier 1 front runner and the tier 2 and the tier 3 sort of competing in each section of the map at a time.
They're all driving their own games.
Right.
So we're coming into the final few corners.
Whoa,
Wow.
you saw that
nice
one.
touch. Yeah.
That was
yeah.
nice.
That was going to look tricky there. And what we can see down the scoreboards at the moment, we've got Slayer still running away in first, Taxi Club in second, Red Villarosso in third, and we got DM3RDX
There's a great
in
battle
fourth.
going on here.
And Bandit Ra, who we saw such great performance from yesterday, is just down in 5th place. Maybe these aren't the maps that... Whoa!
Cutting the corner a little short.
Yeah, just a little bit there. And hasn't cost him a position as of yet, but people will be hot on his tail. And look at that, it's like 8.4 miles or something there in front of him, I believe that was.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a big distance.
Ooh.
I'm guessing that's going to be Slayers who's just running away with it
He's
completely.
really driving it almost too fast there, and he's losing speed because of that.
And look at that, he slides into his opponent there, trying to take out Red Valoroso there, but can't quite do it. I don't think his car's heavy enough with that little Nissan.
Now he's really using the slipstream to his advantage, managing to get the
Pushing
inside
him
of
out.
the corner and pushing his
Yes.
enemy out of
He's got
his
past.
position, and he's passed him.
Passed him and gained quite a little lead already. He's actually 400 yards ahead, which is quite a feat considering he was literally neck and neck with him a few moments ago.
But that's what happens when your car slides out just a little bit. Like
Yeah.
there's such little room for error, and it makes it a really fun game to play because the skill roof is immense. Like you can never really drive it perfectly. You can only give it your best shot. And
now we can see things kind of evening out a bit more. We're not seeing too much of a battle. More time just their need to just continue and not mess up. And this is the thing. If you're going to risk it and really push for it, you're going to have to be so careful because then that's what could cost you your current position. So we're following GT still here. And
I would actually really like to see someone further ahead.
Yeah.
this,
we're back with the Nissan. This is on the Nemesis Montreal team. And currently Nemesis is in first. You've got second. See, this could change it around.
He's
World
actually
Game and Nation are in
he's very
second and
fast.
third.
he's very fast, and he's catching up to another World Game and Nation.
He just
player
managed
here.
to avoid that traffic car. It almost
a
cost
very
him,
tight corner. He's not really giving much room for error. He's trying to cut it as close as he can, so one little mess up and this
he's
will all be lost.
actually a little bit overdriving it.
Ooh.
There he goes.
That's not what you want.
That's what you
it's a
call
nasty
trying.
corner right there.
That's trying too hard.
And look at the scoreboards, guys. World Game and Nation have got second and third. This could really change it around because they've also got fifth as well. So that draw, if it stays how it is at the moment, will not be there for long.
Indeed, and well,
And now they're
Nemesis
taking-
really.
Oh, wow.
They're taking everything out.
Wow.
Parked cars, each
He's
other.
just he brawls his
Yeah,
way to the top. There's
he's
no,
like, I'm just going to fight and
This
just
is-
destroy everything in front of me.
This is turning into a cage fight instead of a race.
The funny thing is, his car weighs like 30% less than the Mustang, so it's amazing that he's really using a lot of of power just to
Just the
smash into the
speed.
sky. And it's a huge risk because if you miss him, you're using all that power to smash into a tree instead.
To smash yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're going to do more harm than good.
exactly. And that's the big thing with trying to bully your opponent off the
Oh,
track.
massive spin out there,
very-
and it's cost him a position. That is not what he wanted there at all. World Game and Nation there, just
And
losing
just
a
at the
last
end as
minute
well.
position, just at the wrong timing. If he'd held out there and maybe not gone so aggressive, would have been a bit of a different story in terms of the scoring.
Yeah,
And we have
indeed.
a quick look down there. We got Slayer in first, Taxi Club second, Bandit Ra third, and the rest of the scores disappeared off my
I actually think this is pretty much the exact same score as last time.
Might be. Well, we saw two World Game and Nation take second and third, so yeah, potentially we could see it exactly the same again.
I'm pretty sure it is actually, and that's gonna end up being
We'll
36 to
wait for a
36.
score update in my ear, but it'd be pretty crazy if we see two exactly
Two
the same
ties.
scoreboards.
It really
we
looks
see.
like it, like from what
Let's
I can
have a
tell.
look.
Anyway,
Oh, it's we'll wait for it to come up on scores. But what did you guys think of that? That was a bit more aggressive than we're used to for a map like that.
It
well,
was,
there was one player there. His name DM the third, playing very aggressively, just bolting into his enemy.
A
And,
little bit too aggressive.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, it's a bit
You
too high risk and high.
This is
reward.
what I was saying. It's
you
the
should
risk and
play to
reward kind
win.
of situation, and you have to be so careful because if you're going to be that aggressive, you've got to know that it's going to pay off for you. Otherwise, like we saw, he's going to lose his position. What did you think of it, Chris?
I think it was a bit too aggressive because he was doing more damage to himself than to his opponents. But it's all about attitude, I think.
I've just had the scores told to me.
Yes.
47 for Nemesis,
Oh.
45 for World Gamer Nation. Nemesis edging that little lead by 2 points
But
there.
it's still
they are-
very close.
So they are by
Wow.
no means safe at all.
No, not at all.
This
And
is
this
very
is a
much
dirt
an open
race.
map.
Now we're going to look onto Windmill Rally, and I love the dirt races, but let's see how well they're going to be able to do this time because we're going to need some super skilled racing.
And this is the closed-off dirt map where the corners really mean everything because you need to bully your way to the top. And let's see how the first turn turns out.
Do you think this
So-
might work aggression like we saw from the DM3
No, oh,
guy
look
last
at- look
We
at
actually
it.
see Slayer here taking the lead from hanging back and just
Yeah.
taking the inside scoop on everything. And all the others are sliding into each other, pushing the
Ooh,
entire field.
Yeah, they're taking each other out. They're more focused on taking each other out than actually driving the lines.
Yeah.
But look at this, Taxi Cab's actually taking the lead over Slayer right now. And, oh, sorry, it was 35-37, not 45.
Oh, I thought that was
47.
very, very high.
Yeah, it was quite a high score there. I was trying to list them where as best I can, but still, Nemesis 2 points ahead of World Gamer Nation right now.
God.
Still all to play for. Currently, the lead of this race is
You
Taxi
see
Club.
it.
Taxi Cab even, sorry, and that's from World Gamer Nation, so the Americans from New York are currently
Nice
a little
shot
bit ahead.
there. Nice shot here.
And we're really going to have to see some position swaps right now for World Gamer Nation. Like they're going to have to overtake someone to get ahead here.
Yeah,
Right
to make
now
a real
they are
difference,
in
they
the
need a first,
exact
second,
same-
third.
They are in the exact same positions that they ended in the last race.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Slayer is catching up there.
Yeah, Slayer really has been doing very well. Very well. We haven't seen him on dirt today,
He's
but he seems to
Very
actually be
nice.
overtaking Taxi Cab a
Yes.
bit.
But look at that, Taxi Cab's forcing it back, and they got to be
The
careful
turn
coming
coming
into
up.
this corner.
And now he tried
Look
to take
at
him
that.
out. Yeah, they're taking each other
Ah.
out.
Woo! Very careful there, that was.
Whoa.
Slayer's
Whoa.
just unable to
A
take
little
it.
bit overcorrecting there.
Taxi Cab's just that little bit ahead at the moment, and Slayer's going to have to be very careful because, again, it comes down to that risk
I
versus
think
reward.
he should stick in second and try to pass him just before the finish. To be safe.
That would be a good safe bet for sure. And we'll have a little look down the
I don't know
scoreboard.
if he can do that.
We've got WGN in first, third, and fourth. So that'll give them the points they need when we come to Nemesis, with Slayer leading in second and then fifth and sixth for them.
You're
So
there
currently
again.
with the scores how it is, World Game Nation will be able to kind of pull their score up to what they need.
Right.
You
right.
should stick off the grass. You see
Yeah.
that? You see him slide. You should stick off the grass. It's a good advice in more
is.
than one way.
It's so hard to control on the grass.
And it is very hard to keep on to dirt as well. So it's you really have to be in control of your car to play a dirt map like this, where as soon as you drift just one yard or so to one side or the other, you're out on grass and you have no control. So it's very high risk on in every move you do.
You see
And
here
the
that with
turn coming up.
a big jump you can gain speed as well. That
Mm.
was a bit of a risky move, but
Oh, very
Slayer
cool.
and Taxi Cab are just, I'm loving this. Every single corner, sliding, bashing into each other, desperately trying to find that line to take them over with. But still, Taxi Cab remains in the lead.
You just see all the corners being taken as tightly as
now
possible to
s-
not let Slayer get ahead. And he's doing his very best to try and force Taxi Cab off his route. And
again,
oh, he's actually trying a bit too hard
Yeah.
to just wrestle him off instead
He
of
doesn't
outdriving
want to
him.
be this aggressive. He needs to do it smart like he was doing previously, because if he goes for this too much of a risk, look at this, he's on the grass again, losing a bit of speed, completely sliding out there. He's going to lose that second place, and he's worked
Yes.
so hard for it. And look at that view
Look.
of Taxi Cab
big air.
coming over the jump there. I'm loving this.
And it's
Whoa!
actually a very
I
even
really-
space in between every car.
I like the camera work today. It's really cool as well.
That was a nice little bit of camera position there.
It's just like 2 seconds in between every
Yeah.
car, and
They're so close. So we're coming right close to that finish line, and it looks like Taxicab's going to be quite comfortably taking that. He's got a 200-yard advantage right now. Second is looking like it's going to be Slayer. As long as he doesn't mess anything up, there's a couple of players behind him about 300 yards away. So there we go.
So the third map for the American finals ends up being a bit in World Game Nation's favor, pulling them, I think, a tiny.
That's gonna give them a tiny lead ahead compared to what we saw.
It's probably like 4 points or something, but it's a lead nonetheless. They can afford one mistake in the next match.
So what are you thinking? Because this is going to be your competition.
Right. I'm thinking they're doing very, very well. They have some very aggressive players, and I'm.
Does that worry someone like you though? If you get stuck behind one of them, they could really shunt you off.
We have weapons in place for that.
Oh
like
yeah,
Special tactics.
Counter tactics. Yes.
We have been trying to play in different styles against ourselves as well, just 3-on-3 and trying our best to force each other off the road or just sprint to the finish. And we feel we're ready to face a lot of different styles, and the aggressive style here of both Montreal and New York actually is a very tough one to face, because you never really know what's going to come out of a brawl.
Well, they do have them American muscle cars. What do you think, Chris?
I think that the best driver didn't win the race, because the cab driver, he was successful in managing to keep Slayer behind him. I think Slayer was the better driver. He took very smooth lines, but if you can block in a good way, then you can win also. So it's a skill as well.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep driving while looking in your rear view mirror at the same time. Just keep focused on the track and keep focused on where the guy is behind you. So I can only recommend like a full surround sound, like 7.1 surround sound headset, because you're gonna want to know exactly where.
That's what it is for me. I like playing as the furthest view away, the bird's eye kind of view, seeing who's going to get close to me and listening for that behind you. You can hear it coming.
Yeah, just
and you're like,
nitro.
oh. And look at this, what we're going to see for our fourth and final map, Air Base Assault, the one with the Tree of Pool, the map that we like a lot with plenty of shortcuts.
The map
as
of
we
the
know.
Skipsies.
Yeah, see.
And I hope
we're keeping that.
Yeah.
The map of the Skipsies. That's going to be your phrase now, Nicholas. And look at the
56
scores.
to 52.
56-52. It's changed around, a 4-point lead for New York right now. The Canadians need to try a little bit harder. It's so close right now. But this is the fourth and final map. And let's see who's going to take it. Currently in the lead is Taxicab, and we've got Slayer in second. These are our real front runners throughout this tournament.
Let's see who uses the jumps this time.
And you can tell the very important move there on the second checkpoint is just to ignore the road and get a really, really side angle on the checkpoint, so you can keep your speed all the way through. And he actually can take it even wider.
Look at Slayer here. He took that corner so
really
well.
good
He's
line.
gone. He just got nudged to the back. He taken that corner so well, and look where he's dropped down to. He's currently in 6th place. He went from 1st to 6th. He had so much speed on that corner.
That is huge for World Domination. Slayer, being the front runner of Nemesis, has just gone knocked down to 6th.
He's got a
map is
whole
fairly short, and he's got very far to go to get to the top.
It's going to be so hard for him to catch up. Even your most skilled driver is going to struggle with that. But if there is anyone, he's the man that can do it. We're looking at World Domination in 1st and 2nd right now. Nemesis to 3rd and 4th and 5th. And we've got World Domination on their last player, their 6th, Red Valarosso, still having to play a bit of catch-up right now. And they've got to be careful of this checkpoint. We saw players before it miss it, and that cost them basically the entire race.
Lost a lot of speed there.
So Nemesis really in deep trouble here. They need to have a few overtakes to get the points home that they need to get past World Domination again.
And look at Slayer again on this corner. He's
Not
doing
again.
it so
this
well.
guy he avoids it.
He's doing it very, very well.
But he should go left there.
I love his handling on that corner. He doesn't miss it. You look at everyone else, they kind of over-brake or they oversteer it. And look at Slayer. He knows this corner. He knows what he's doing. He's already able to climb back up from last to 3rd place. He's only got Bandit Ra and Taxicab ahead of us, and we're finally seeing Bandit Ra back in the game after not really showing up on the past games.
Yeah, he's been managing to stay far behind in every game, which must be frustrating. And now he's in a final map of the American finals. He's got to be feeling the pressure.
His team need it as well. He needs to make sure they capitalize on that lead. It's only a 4-point difference at the moment, and every point is going to matter.
And actually, Taxicab and Bandit have managed to stick to their first and second place here.
Oh!
And that's going to pretty much buy them all the points they need to just secure their
And
first
again.
place.
Oh, it's just
Slayer
complete
again.
carnage. Poor Slayer is being knocked down at every opportunity. They know how good he is. And look, he's back in 5th place, and the finish line's just coming up. Taxicab goes first. Second is Bandit Ra. Third is going to be Red Valoroso, and he was actually last at one point. This is a map that is completely confusing the players at times. You get nudged at the wrong point, or you make one wrong move, and that's your race changed.
And it seems like World Gamer Nation really was able to keep their cool
Yeah.
just that bit more and not make that little tiny nudge of mistake. Instead, they pressed a bit more on the brake. They made the turn in a safer way, and it ended up being a massive payoff. And they got first, second, and third, bringing them the most points and securing the victory.
And
in
they're
the
forced to
American
win a
finals.
mistake.
And that's just at the right time as well. So World Gamer Nation, they're going to be your American champions. And that was a well-fought battle. I think that was a very close American final there. They're going to go off to the World Finals, and they're going to be facing Copenhagen, which is DS Rack. It's Nicholas's team to the right of us here, and we'll be bringing that to you very shortly.